What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. We will be going over the USD pair, do a quick little immediate analysis on that, price predictions and everything. And then the BTC pair, Litecoin versus BTC, at the request of Armin Liu. Normally talks smack about Litecoin, but he wants me to do the BTC pair, and I don't know if that was a joke or not, but we're taking this joke seriously, man. We're going to talk about it. He doesn't like it whenever I talk about Litecoin moving up, and I've been talking about it moving up, and here it is moving up. But anyways, I do think that this is the low. I'm very confident that that's the low. We're at $73 now. The whole market kind of moved up today, not kind of, like very much moved up. We had a little rally for sure, since who knows why, but it definitely rallied today. 3.4% yesterday for Litecoin. That's not as much as you saw with Bitcoin Cash, Solana, stuff like that. I actually wonder, what did Ethereum do? I haven't checked the price of Ethereum. Let's see. Ethereum moved up 7%. So yeah, Litecoin definitely on the lighter side. But to be fair, that's okay. Everything moved up nonetheless. We are at a point that I would expect us to find resistance, kind of coming in line with this downward sloping trend line. But I do think we will continue to move up based off of this fib here, from a high to a low. We are right by the 382. It's very common to go just a little bit above there. And if we take a more relative fib from this high to low right here, we do have the 618 golden ratio zone at about $75 to $78. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think we're going to go probably closer to $75, $76, but somewhere in this zone we'll find resistance. Maybe today or tomorrow we go there. And then we start to move down either to the 0.5, which is at about $71, or all the way down to about $67.50, somewhere down there. Move up and then move down, but immediately, yes, I think that we are moving higher. When we move down, it'll be a higher low, and then we can resume going higher, back to hopefully new cycle highs. Not new all-time highs, but new cycle highs. I do think that we will see new all-time highs, but to keep it more focused on the immediate term, up and then down essentially is what I have in mind. The 4-hour RSI looks very bullish. The 1-hour RSI also looks very bullish. I don't know how to feel about the daily. Everything else is suggesting it goes up, but this daily is kind of sloped downward, right? It's got that downward kind of channel to it, and you are at a point where it would make sense to go down. So perhaps you go up today and then you come back down and close where you are now. Maybe you close here, then you go up tomorrow and then come down. I don't know, but I would expect soon we probably do find turbulence just a little bit higher and then pull back. Anyways, that's LTC USD. Let's do LTC BTC now, and I want to find the chart that has the most history. Would that be Coinbase on a monthly basis? Whoa, whatever that is there. LTC BTC. Binance has a little bit more, so we'll use Binance. This is a big scam wick. We won't use that. Just act like that's not there, but it is there obviously, but it's not there. And the reason why Armin Liu, or RMONLU, however you pronounce it, man, talks smack about Litecoin whenever I talk about it going to new all-time highs, he just hates it with a burning passion, is because this is the Litecoin versus Bitcoin chart. As most cryptos, it's not anything special. Most cryptos lose value versus Bitcoin over their existence. It happens. So, but still, most of them do go into oblivion and see nothing. But the coins that look like this, the coins that they maintain higher lows cycle after cycle, and even this technically is a higher high, but it's, let's call it a double top, whatever it is. This isn't a bearish formation at all. It's definitely a bullish formation. So versus Bitcoin, absolutely bearish. But if we actually look at it for what it is, I think that we are at a low point with LTC BTC. So we've got bullish divergence on the monthly, which is not a very common thing to see. It happens every now and then, but the monthly chart, it takes a long time for these kind of things to form. But you do have a low here and a higher low. If this month can close green versus Bitcoin, then you will have confirmed bullish divergence. That's not saying much. That would only call for a move that's up like this, but gaining value versus Bitcoin nonetheless. Right now you're down about 5.6% against Bitcoin, so you need to start growing. You need to see days whenever Bitcoin's growing, you need to grow more. If Bitcoin's growing and this thing's only growing 3%, this will continue to go down. So getting a green month, closing this month green or next month green, that absolutely would promote bullish divergence on the monthly RSI, which I think is an incredibly powerful signal. And even though it would only call for you to move up to like this area here, I think it would potentially signal a low, a greater low, and send you up, perhaps to find a lower high. I'm not calling for anything crazy. I don't think Litecoin's going to gain a lot of value versus Bitcoin forever, but maybe for the rest of the cycle. This could be the beginning of it gaining value versus the rest of the cycle. So Armin Liu, as contrary as this might be to you, as much as you like to talk smack about Litecoin, this chart actually, I think, validates exactly what I'm saying, which is that Litecoin will probably outperform Bitcoin for the rest of the cycle, because we are at a low point, right? We are at a low point here in this trend. You're at the oversold zone. You have bullish divergence on your monthly. You're literally at the lowest points that you've ever been on your RSI. Not only that, but on the LTC USD chart here, you're also at the low points in your price as well, right? Like literally couldn't have tipped it better. So it makes sense that this thing is going to run up. So as bearish as this chart is overall, it would make perfect sense for this thing to start doing some bullish things for the remainder of the cycle. So good call on this one, I guess. I don't think it was the call you were looking for, but it actually does look somewhat bullish, to be completely fair. Oversold, now you're not. You did have bullish divergence. I wouldn't really call this bullish divergence now. The weekly RSI doesn't look the best, though you are looking somewhat productive, somewhat, you do have a little bit of a channel upwards right now. It's not the worst look, but it could be better. As time goes on, we'll see if you can continue to go. You want to get this thing above the 40 level and stay above the 40 level. If you can do that, then yes, I'm absolutely convinced that you're at a low point and you'll start to move up higher. If we look at the daily's neutral. That makes sense. The price action versus Bitcoin is neutral in itself. The longer term timeframes definitely suggest that you're at a low. The daily term timeframes could suggest that you move lower a little bit, but I don't know if you go below that low. If we look at the 4 hour, I mean maybe today you do gain value versus Bitcoin. I don't know. And if you gain value versus Bitcoin, that could mean you move up more than it, you move down less than it, which is less common, but it does happen. So that's that. There was something else. Somebody else wanted me. It might have been Isaiah. I forget the whole name, but I know it's Isaiah. You requested something about Litecoin versus Bitcoin, and I can't remember what it was. I hope this is what it was, but I feel like I'm missing something. There was something more that you wanted me to go over. If you could just leave that in the comments. I was looking for it, and I thought I saved it in the screenshots, but I did not save it on the comments. I take screenshots because, dude, there's so many comments. It's hard to just go through and find it. I can try to do that, but if you leave a comment, if you leave another comment of your request, it'll be easier for me. If not, I will go through and look for it, but that's a request on the request on my part. But the 1 hour does look a little bit bullish, I gotta say, a little bit, but neutral at the same time. It's more neutral. Maybe it's not bullish, it's more neutral. The 4 hour looks bearish, but it's in a position to start looking bullish. If we take a low to a high, right at your 0.5, it would make sense to go a little bit lower, and that kind of agrees with what the daily looks like, right? That you'd probably go maybe down to your 61869 area, an area that you found support on once here, twice here, you can't really see it, and then closing support right here. So it would make sense to go in this golden ratio and then probably proceed going higher. The weekly and the monthly timeframes to me do suggest that you are at a low point and you might expect to see some upside. But again, that upside doesn't mean that you're going through the roof, doesn't mean that you're going to gain value versus Bitcoin forever. But for the time being, which on a monthly basis, that's like till the end of the cycle, I'm thinking is going to be, it could be as late as October. It could be later, but somewhere between now and then, that's plenty of time to move up around here, right? And if it's gaining value versus Bitcoin, I just wonder if these numbers would add up, if it would make sense, right? Because I'm not being precise, but I feel like moving up here, that kind of looks like a nice lower high in formation with all this. That's about a 200% growth versus Bitcoin. Let's round it, because again, this isn't super precise, so maybe it's 200%. Let's just round it and say that 200% versus Bitcoin. If Bitcoin were to move up, the minimum expectations that I have for Bitcoin are that it basically moves up to right around there, which is 174%. That would then mean that Litecoin would move up 374% at a minimum, which that would basically take it all the way back to all-time highs. So it's at least got that going for it, but I think Bitcoin itself will grow past that. It'll probably see, I'm actually expecting $400,000 price targets, around 460 or higher, so that'd be 622. If I'm right in assuming that, then 622% more or less. 622 plus 200, that'd be 822%. 822%. That's all the way up here. That's a little bit more extreme, right, versus Bitcoin. So I don't know. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got this wrong. I don't not versus Bitcoin, on the USD pair. Okay, so it'd be 822 on the USD pair, which still is pretty low. Not gonna lie, that is still pretty low. So the LTC BTC chart does make me wonder if these breakout moves that I've been calling for, if they will happen. You know, that definitely is something to take into consideration. But coming up this high, not hitting your 1272 at least, it doesn't sound right to me. It really doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't make any sense. But whatever, you know, that just because it doesn't sound right doesn't mean it can't happen. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe I'm being too conservative with the LTC BTC chart. Maybe it does do more growth than just something like this. Maybe it comes all the way up here. You know, like still a lower high overall, but it's hard to say. Something that I will say to contest kind of the things that we just went over on the LTC BTC chart is I am expecting a breakout of this zone, right? So if we go back to the LTC USD long all-time history chart, you've been in a consolidation phase for a very long time, right? This is what you've looked like through that whole consolidation phase. That started since December of 2017, right? You've been consolidating. December of 2017 would have been right here. December right there. So this is throughout Litecoin's whole consolidation phase. This is what it looks like, right? Whenever it breaks out, and you haven't seen, like, look at this, is before the consolidation, this was before the consolidation, this was before the consolidation. If we're breaking out of this zone, like I think we're going to this cycle, then perhaps you do even break out of this downtrend. Again, I don't think that you're going to see anything crazy insane, but perhaps something that does break this line here. I don't know. Anyways, guys, that's all I got. The monthly, the weekly versus BTC does look like you found a low. The daily, the 4-hour would suggest that we go a little bit lower, but I don't think that we will go lower than this low here. The USD chart would suggest we move up a little bit and then down and then probably up, but I do feel confident that that's the low, and that's all I have to say. So hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.